From eternity to eternity, God is seated on the throne. Kingdoms have come, kingdoms have gone. People have come who have claimed to be gods. People have come who claim to be something greater. But there is only one true God who's always seated on the throne. He's the God who loves us, who cares for us, and calls us his child.
You are not a God created by human hands. You are not a God dependent on any mortal man. You are not a God in need of anything we can give by your plan. That's just the way it is. You are not a God created by human hands. You are not a God dependent on any mortal man. You are not a God in need of anything we can give by your plan. That's just the way it is. You are God alone from before time began. You were on your throne. You were God alone. And right now, in the good times and bad, you are on your throne. You are God alone.
The word for today is taken from Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 9, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Understand, therefore, that the Lord your God is indeed God. He is faithful God who keeps his covenant for 1,000 generations and lavishes his unfailing love on those who love him and obey his commandments. This verse reminds us of the true unchanging nature of God. One of God's attributes is that he is faithful. Truth be told, we can never find anyone as faithful as our God in our world today. The best of our best friends might fail us one day. People whom we love the most can disappoint us in many ways. But God is always faithful. He is true to what he says he is. If you look at the background of this verse, this word is spoken to the Israelites as they continue to move towards the promised land. This verse reminds them that God is faithful. He brought them out of Egypt and he will take them to the promised land. God promised to take them into the land flowing with milk and honey, and God will definitely do it. We see characters in the Bible who experienced the faithfulness of God in every aspect. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 3, Paul says, God is faithful. The Message translation of the Bible interprets that statement in this way. It says, God will never let us down. When I personally think of the faithfulness of God, it is so comforting because I know I have given my life to my God who keeps up his word. If he says something, it will happen without fail. He is God and God alone. Quite often we may think twice about giving our life to Jesus or following his paths, wondering how is it going to be and what if something doesn't happen the way it is supposed to happen. I can assure you this, that God is absolutely faithful. In other words, he will do what he is supposed to do, and whatever he does is the best for us. He is faithful. He will never ever let us down when we give our life to him. Paul says like this about his own life. He says, I know whom I have believed. I'm fully convinced that he is able to guard what I have entrusted to him until that day. Paul was so convinced of the God whom he served. He was convinced that God is fully able to guard his life, which he has given as a deposit as he entered into ministry. As you begin your day this morning, remind yourself that the God whom I serve, whom I worship, is a faithful God. And what I have to do is just give my life completely into his hands, every part of my life into his hands, and he will never ever let me down in any area of life. He will never ever push me away, or he will never abandon me. He will be true to what he says he is, and he will fulfill every word that he has spoken to us.
From before time began, you were on your throne. You were God alone. And right now, in the good times and
Join us today for our Sunday service. We meet together, we worship the Lord together, and rejoice in His goodness as one great family. We have two services. We have one service at 8:30 in the morning, another service at 5:30 p.m. in the evening. You can join us for any of those services. We meet at Willie's building in the second floor of our favorite shop in Balmata in Mangalore. If you need more details, you can visit our website www.hopecity.org.in. We look forward to seeing you there. God bless you.